I'm Vuyisile Memani. Would really love to thank Dr. Tendani for having invited one to become part and parcel of this gathering. I remember that when I first met him, and then he said to me, my brother, I would love you to present something at ALP. And then I cleared my throat a little bit. I said, like somebody that you know. I said, yes, my brother, I would love you to present something at the ALP. And then he avoided calling me by name. Because mine is not a difficult name, but the problem is that it has quite a number of letters to it, and then rather he opted for my brother part of it. So, so if you think that I really have a long name, you must also hear the names of my kids. I have a girl. Her name is Ubuhle Benkosi, and that is the beauty of the Lord. At school, they tried to call her Buhle, and I said, no, she's not Buhle. She's Ubuhle Benkosi. Then I have a young one, a boy. His name is Bukhulu Bamudi. So we are being democratic at home, ne? And then also that one is a petty name. It simply means that the greatness of the Lord. Now, let's go to one's presentation for today. That's the roadmap. So what I really want to do, I'll quickly say something about myself, share with you my perspective on leadership, then the qualities of a leader who is working in a situation that is without a map. All right. Yesterday, when I woke up, my wife, I didn't look at the program. But my wife, when we started, she greeted me using the title of doctor, and I said, Lord, I receive. I have learned that some of the things, before they can become physical, they are spiritual in nature. TET has done basically wonders for one. For a very, very long time, I'm 12 years in the system in TUT, but about 7 of those years, they were spent in the classroom. I did well in the classroom. I did wonders in the classroom. But what then TUT did is that they saw a leader in me. But seeing a leader in me, what they were able to do, it is that they gave other people such as me an opportunity to be able to rub shoulders with grades. I attend wonderful meetings here with Prof. Ingrid, Dr. Bahatile. That is why even if I don't have a doctorate, I'm being called a doctor. Let's get to the name part of it. I'm Vuyisile Memani. This is a wonderful Xhosa name. That simply means the one who brings joy. I'm one of those who have fallen in love with their names. All right. Question now gets to be exactly who am I? I grew up in a family of 4. I was led by a democratic mom. My mom, what she did to us is that she, at an early age, she taught us the beauty, the power of negotiation. That Vuyisile in life, you must be able to negotiate your space. Negotiate your space. And then, as she was saying that to us, and then one element that she was also able to impart to one, it was an element that was simply saying that you must not be fearful in life. Must take fear and throw it out of the window. And then he said it's so wonderfully so in Xhosa, and then she said that Vuyisile awuna uba ngumntu xa ujonga emntwini. Loosely translated, it is that if you look unto men, now not in a gender manner, all right? But if you look unto men for your provision, you won't be whom or what you are destined to be. All right? And that's what she inculcated basically in us. And then, but she ran a danger in here that when she was inculcating these to one, it meant that at one stage I would have to challenge her. And then I did exactly that. When I was 9, my father left us. When I was 13, the father made an attempt to come back to the family. In that family of 4, I was the only one who said that, no, he can't come back. I won the first round. I won the first round. The second round, I was 14. And then when I was 14, and then the father came. There was a codessa of some sort. We were engaged. I went to my initial stance, but I lost the second round. The father came back. Next encounter, I truly believe that really leadership starts at home. So that was inculcated to one right basically at home. Second to that, I had to go to university. Firstly, it was Fort Hare University, then I had to go to Stellenbosch University. First year at Fort Hare University, during our days, we used to be called freshers. I'm a fresh. And then there was a strike that was being mooted. And then we were being addressed. At Fort Hare, we have this huge hall that is called the Great Hall. And then leaders were busy talking to people, making sure that, pushing for the strike. And then I stood up and then I went to the front. And then I picked up that mic. And then I said, no, we are not going to have a strike. They said, set pressure, set pressure. I lost that round. I went to Stellenbosch, the very same. There was a strike that was being mooted. I won that round. There was not a strike, first time. But came the second round, I lost. But then now question gets to be, as of Vuyisile, what is my perspective on leadership? As of Vuyisile, this is what I believe when it comes to issues of leadership. I believe that leaders are made, leaders are trained in the most secret, sacred, private spaces. Therein they are refined. Therein they are fine-tuned in that kind of a space. And I believe that it is in that space wherein they are able to fight battles. Some of the battles they win, some of them they lose. But the beauty about them losing the sad battles in the sad situation, it is that they don't see the losing of battles as a backward step. Rather, it is an opportunity for them to learn, to become bigger and better. That is how I see it. And then another thing that I also see about leadership, it is that as they're in this private space, they also appreciate that. As a leader, you cannot win battles in private that you have lost. You cannot win them in the public, that of which you have lost in the private. You must win those battles right there in the private so that you can be able to become a public success. And that it is my take when it comes to issues of leadership. The second one, let's go to the next one, Delot. Enter. We all know of the public success of David against Goliath. But what I learned from that, it is that before you had a David who conquered a Goliath, there were things that were first done in the private. First, he got to be that boy who looked after the flock of the father in the private. He got to be that boy who, when the bear came from one of the sheep, he was able to slaughter that. When the lion also came, trying to attack one of the flock, he was able to mete out the same thing that he did to the bear. So you have these successes that are seen in the public, but everything is not starting and ending in the public. Things, they start in the private so that it is not a problem for them to be seen, basically, if one may put that so in the public. What are these qualities that are needed for one to lead in a mapless situation? I just have 4 of them, and then I'll quickly go through them. Now, one who is to lead in a mapless situation, I believe that that person must be able to see the unseen. I love what Martin Luther King says there. He says in one of his quotes, I've been to the mountaintop. He's not saying that we've been to the mountaintop. He says that I, as the leader, have been to the mountaintop. Before the followers they can get to the mountaintop, first he gets to the mountaintop. And then he says therein, and I've looked over, and I have seen the promised land. The leader ought to be able to see the unseen. That is point number one. Quality number one, according to me. Quality number two. One must then, after being able to see the unseen, someone must then be able to share the unseen. Because for the unseen to materialize as a leader, it is going to take basically the collective. Here King says the following, I have a dream. He shares this dream basically to his followers, to say that this is the unseen. I have seen Canaan. As a result of that, this is what I have. This is the dream that I possess. This is the dream that I share with you. So to me, a leader one must be one who is able to see the unseen. After seeing the unseen, the leader must be the one who is able to share that unseen. 3, I believe that the leader must be, after seeing the unseen, sharing the unseen, he or she ought to be able to live the unseen. He says this in that wonderful speech of his, when he says that I have a dream. He says that when he concludes, he says, free at last. Free at last. Thank God Almighty. We are free at last. Now, when he concludes, he is seeing himself as a free person. Though the physical shackles might still be there at the moment, but he is not walking in accordance to the issues of today. He has seen Canaan, and then he starts walking in accordance to what he has seen. So a leader to me is the one who is able to see the unseen, share the unseen, and be able to walk the unseen. Last but not least, it is the great Madiba, all of us that we love. I think he possessed this quality that I appreciated, that a leader must be anchored. You must be anchored. You must be anchored in this of which is unseen. He says that I have an ideal. There is this society that he is seeing. The society that he wants to see being put into place. But one thing that I appreciate part of it is the commitment to that. He says that if it needs be, that is the anchor then to it. If it needs be, one is basically prepared to die for this of which is unseen. That is my take with regards to leading in a situation where there is no map. That a leader must be able to see the unseen. The leader must be able to share the unseen. The leader must be able to live the unseen. The leader must then be anchored in the unseen. Thank you very much. God bless you.